To that end, PRT has decided to force a new way to play on the players, and that is incorporating action points. So instead of seeing Good Neighbor play every turn, we are going to see action nearly every turn, thanks to these action points. And we do have all the players in the lobby ready to go. Ooh, I don't know why everyone has 17 points, but whatever. The way the action points are going to work is you have to conquer a territory that has at least 2 points on it and or break an opponent's bonus. If you do both, you get a point. If you do one, you get nothing, but if you do neither, you lose one. You can have as many as 10 points gained from doing this, and I think you can have as many as 10 points lost from not doing this, in addition to all your standard placement points and bounty points that are normally part of a PRT tournament game. So doing a little bit of experimentation should be an interesting game. In the first seat, we have Nub 2.0, our yellow player. Then in the second seat on blue, we have Trunk. In the third seat on orange, we have Blazin. Then in the fourth seat, who was kind enough to share his screen, we have Pentix, our purple player. In the fifth seat, we have Iden 4NK, our white player. And then last but not least, on pink, we have Game Salat in the sixth and final seat. So, Nub struggles a little bit to take a card, but does successfully conquer a territory with more than 2 troops on it. No one has a bonus, so the only way to not lose a point is to hit a 2 or higher. So Nub was able to do that, but it cost him. He spent a couple one-on-ones in the process. At least I'm assuming that action point process starts right after turn 1 begins, or right here during turn 1. I don't think it's something that is that only starts once the board has stabilized. Yeah, Trunk also hitting a 2 loses 2 in doing so. No one's really going too hard after a bonus. Also, this is a, speaking of placement and what I was saying earlier, you guys probably want to hear what the settings are for this. So this is 70% domination on the Europe Advanced map. We have no fog blizzards or portals. Placement was auto. The cards are progressive. We shouldn't see any bots, but if we do, they'll be automated expert bots. The turn timer is 90 seconds, and alliances are off. Alright, Blazin has yet to hit a 2. Has so far only hit 1s. Didn't lose any troops hitting those 1s. Hit about 4 territories, actually. So I think, if I'm keeping track of how the new action point system works, I think Blazin lost an action point for not breaking a bonus and not hitting a 2. But I could be wrong about that. Alright, now Pentix is up. If he gets really good dice, he could maybe get a turn 1 Eastern Europe. Yep. He's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Lost a point there, not sure why they all started at 17, but it should update at some point. Okay. Alright, so Pentix, I think, also loses a point here. Only hit 1s, but I don't think he minds having only hit 1s since he took a bonus. However, because players won't... because players are interested in keeping their action points, that bonus almost certainly will get broken. The incentive structure has entirely changed now. Iden going to take a couple of bonuses. He's pathing in such a way to where he could hit a 2. Not interested in hitting a 2. Iden is going to lose an action point. Alright. Now we have Game Salat up. Game Slot only on 11% of the board. Looks like he's going for France. Hits a 2 right off the bat. Gains an action point from that. Gonna try to break Pentix's bonus. Fails. Does he bother taking France? No. Alright, Nub in a tricky spot here. Could maybe go for Eastern Europe or Dinaric. But really doesn't have too many prospects in front of him. Bonus game? Perhaps after seeing yesterday's game, board end up too open? Maybe. Alright, so he takes a bonus, doesn't hit any 2s. So I think that's a loss of an action point for Nub. Alright, Trunk could take Spain. Someone is saying that Pentix ought to be broken. Breaks Nub instead. So loses no action points and gains no action points from doing that. Ooh, and leaves a 3 in there. Doesn't fortify it out. This is definitely already a spicy game with this action point system. Much different game in Group 2? Yeah. Alright, Blazin not hitting Pentix. Pentix actually gets to hold his +8. Blazin more interested in taking a bonus for himself. Huge bonus for Pentix. Made a huge gamble spending his entire first turn taking this bonus, with the incentive of every other player being to break it, yet none of them did. Looks like he's planning on taking yet another bonus. I think if I'm Pentix in this situation, I hit a 2 somewhere, or break a bonus. Immediately breaks Blazin's bonus. And gonna hit a 2. So Pentix recovers the action point he lost on his previous turn, in addition to making a ton, getting a huge bonus off that Eastern Europe, off of holding Eastern Europe. No clue why the scoreboard is showing 17. What did you do? I really thought we had it all fixed. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Idea not messing with any of that stuff. Gonna hit a 2, so doesn't lose an action point this turn. Didn't break anybody, though. Idan has secured his noob corner. Alright, what does Game Slot do here? Someone needs to break Pentix. I think Game Slot wants to take France, but Trunk is out here breaking everyone. Hits a 2. So Game Slot not going to lose an action point this turn. Alright, Nub going to go up and hit Pentix. No action point lost for Nub. Alright, now Trunk. I think if you're Trunk, you take Spain here. But there's no 2s for him to hit. He's looking for a 2 at least. Oh, maybe he does have a 2. Rethinking things. Yeah, normally, without the action point system, you would just take Spain here. But with it, it's making him think twice. Yeah, it takes a couple territories in Spain, but doesn't fully take it. I think he does lose an action point for not hitting a 2 or breaking a bonus. You figured it out. Do I need to refresh anything on my end, Mitch? Blazin removes Pentix, but I didn't see him hit any 2s. So Pentix has been brought to heel a little bit. circle around and hit that trunk 2. Gets perfect dice on it. Pentix just taking territory and not losing the action point he gained. I think he's even in action points right now. Losing an action point in turn 1, gaining 1 in turn 2, and then not losing or gaining here in turn 3. Carter will need to when I get it fixed. Okay, gotcha. Idan going to come down and also break Blazin. There's, let's see, yeah, no loss in action point there from Idan. If Blazin isn't up to speed on the action point system, since he's playing normally, he might be confused as to why he keeps getting broken. Game slot hits another 2. Idan in a really nice spot. The only player regularly getting bonus troops. Very difficult to break through a 6 or a 7 to get to that noob corner. So is the noob corner the new meta with this action point system here? Nub taking territory off of Pentix, but didn't hit a 2 or break a bonus. So I think that's a loss of an action point for Nub. Refresh the dashboard. Oh, that's a. You're asking Carter. Okay. So does Trunk have any? Trunk has a 3 he could hit if he puts everything on his 5. Looks like he's going for a pink 2. Gets perfect dice. And removes an Idan exterior. Once sets come in, okay. Blazin trying to set himself up to not get broken. Idan has every reason to break, though. Gonna make it expensive if Idan wants to try that again. Alright, Pentix moving down, gonna hit a 2. It's perfect dice. Sees no reason to continue attacking. Just has a bunch of 1s and a big 12 stack. Alright, Idan gonna shoot across, not only hitting a 2, but also gonna go through and break Blazin's bonus. That gains him an action point. Alright. Yeah, I think Blazin is thoroughly enjoying this. Game slot doesn't really have any 2s to hit, so I think he's just going to take a card and end his turn. Game slot I don't think is long for this world on less than 10% of the board, and goes last. With also less than 20 troops. Someone's picking up that bounty at some point. Blazin's going to set and sue. Yep. Nub with the 4 trade just takes a card and a bonus. So I think that's another action point loss for Nub. Trunk breaks a bonus and hits a 2. Gets an action point for that. Also gets 2 new enemies. Six trade from Blazin. Going all in on Trunk. Not worried about white. Gonna take a card on white though. Or at least a... Oh, No, he's not. Pentix making a decent chunk of troops a turn. He's going to hit that trunk 3. Only loses 1 on it. Probably going to stop right there. Sees no reason to fortify anywhere. Alright, Idan enjoying his noob corner bonuses. Guarding with 7s. If he intends to hold that, he might want to beef those up. Yep, going to add 3, making them 10s. Because the sets are going to be big here soon. Looks like he's not breaking a bonus this turn or hitting a 2, so he loses an action point this turn. Alright, what is Game up to? He could go all the way down and hit Blazon's 4. That's probably not worth it. He's also just going to take a card. Loses an action point for that. Alright, Nub can hit a 4 here to keep himself from losing an action point. Looks like he's not interested in hitting a 4. More interested in hitting purple. Iden goes for the trunk kill. Well, trunk is setting. Nice, points are updated. Alright, cool. Yeah, Pentix and Trunk are even Steven. Iden is down by 1. Blazon and GameSlot are down by 2. And Nub is down by 4. I'm going to trust that Chad knows more about the point system than I do, so if I get something wrong, just refer to the scoreboard. Ooh. Loses 5 on that, but doesn't lose any action points. Chad knows everything? I'll have to recheck afterwards. Okay. Yeah, Blazon not even trying to hold the bonus anymore. Just removing trunk positions. Big 10 trade for Pentix. But Idan going to get one of the larger trades. Actually could probably just kill GameSlot on Idan's turn. Or Idan could kill GameSlot on his turn. Blazon kill into the 70. Looks like he's not removing trunk. Hitting a bunch of territory just to get to Idan's 5. And maintain his action points. Doesn't lose any because he hit something higher than a 2. 12 trade for Idan. Should be able to kill GameSlot here. He is going for it. This won't lose him any action points because he hit some stacks higher than a 2, and it will gain him 3 bounty points. So GG's to GameSlot and well played to Idan taking the first bounty of Group 2 here in Game 1. Alright. GameSlot is on 18 points. Is that accurate? Ooh, and Idan with the 3-point hold on an expanded noob corner. The good old Nordic expansion of the noob corner. Ooh, did Idan have the win? Did he have the 70 after the GameSlot kill? He likely does here in a moment. Set on 3 for Trunk. Can Trunk take the Blazon kill here? Oh, kill pink, kill orange, run? Yeah, I think he might have actually had that, yeah. Trunk gonna pick up the orange bounty here, which won't actually get him any bonuses, nor have him hit a 2. So, is that accurate? A kill that's like this means he loses an action point? I feel like that's weird. I feel like if you kill someone, that's action. But anyway, GG's to Blazin, and well played to Trunk taking the second bounty this game. So he gets the bounty points. Oh, but okay, he hit a 6 there, so didn't lose any action points. Has 3 bonuses, but there's no way that those hold. Sitting on 4 cards. Idan on 5 can kill just about anyone he wants before he runs. Bentix breaks a bonus. So he's not going to lose any action points. All bounties are 3 points, no need for trades. Right, I know, but what I was saying was him killing orange didn't require him to break a bonus or hit any 2s or higher. But he ended up hitting a white 6 afterwards. So I was just wondering if he had stopped without hitting the 6 of white, does he still lose an action point? I'm assuming the answer is yes. It's a 2-point bounty. Gotcha. Okay. Speaking of bounties, Idan takes the yellow bounty and should have a trade that is large enough to just go ahead and grab the W here. Gonna run off his 16 to pick up the trunk bounty on the way. Does he get the 70 before the trunk bounty? I think there's a good chance that he might. Yeah, he'll get the 70 before the trunk bounty. So, game 1 goes to Idan for NK with Pentix and Trunk both still alive. Nub 2.0 gets 4th. Alright, it looks like everyone kept their same colors. So now we are proceeding into game 2. Believe everything is the same. It's just now we're on the Grease map. So yeah, Grease, 70% domination. No fog, blizzards, or portals. Placement's auto. Card bonus is progressive. If we see any bots, they'll be auto experts. Turn timer is 90 seconds. Yeah, literally the same game, same settings as game 1. Just different map. We're in Greece now instead of all of Europe. Alright, we see... I missed what Blazin did, but we do see Nub hit a 2. Blazin just took a card, so he lost an action point, which breaks the tie between him and Nub. Idan considering what he can do here. He's going to take the Ionian Island bonus. Nope, just going to take a card. Idan loses a point, and Idan has points to spare since he won the first game. Alright, game slot now in the 4th seat. Gonna move into Crete. Hits a Pentix 2. Doesn't need to do anything else. Decides to hit a Blazin 2 as well. I don't know if that gains him... Does that gain him a point? I thought he needed to do... I'm not sure what the point of hitting the second 2 there was, but... Especially without taking the bonus, but... Alright, I didn't see there if Trunk hit a 2 or not. I don't think he did. He may have, though. We see Pentix with a quick take and a very strong 3-point guard on his +3. That could get broken, but it would be an expensive break for whoever does it. Trunk and Iden are in the best positions to do it. Yep, bonus game. Alright, Blazin hits a 2. And is going to finish the take of that top right bonus. No, he's not. He's going to wait a turn. Alright, Nub takes a bonus. Loses a point, didn't hit a 2 that turn. So Iden can take the Ionian Islands, but he's not going to be able to guard it as very strong against purple or yellow. So I'm not sure how much utility there is to taking it. He just decides to hit a 1. So Nub has an easy action point on that south island there. Game hits another Blazin 2 to stay above water on the action points that turn. Trunk's spending half of his turn timer to think about what he wants to do. Looks like he wants to take a +2. Or does he? Okay, yeah. So yeah, confirmation, you don't get a +1 for hitting 2 2s in the same turn. Alright, Pentic's going to hit Blazin's 2 there. Loses 2 on it. Set up to hit Idan's 2 on his next turn. Alright, so Blazin can take that bonus. But will he hold it, is the question. Ooh, I'm not sure I would have hit that Pentix position there. That opens Pentix's 4. Pentix might be tempted to gain an action point by hitting the 3 and then breaking. Alright, we see Nub getting ready to hit a 2. Can also go for the bonus break on Idan. Yep, does decide to go for that bonus break. So Nub gains an action point that turn. He did do both. Who decides to... Oh, allowing Idan to gain an action point off of him. Interesting. Ooh, Idan loses 3 on that roll. Yep, Idan just parks in Yellow's bonus. I think he knows that he's never holding Ionian Islands. Game slot hits another Blazin 2. Gonna guard Crete with 2 5s. Who doesn't go for the easy break on Trunk. Could have gained an action point that turn. Allows Trunk to hold the +2. Trunk not hitting any 2s or breaking any bonuses this turn. He loses a point. Yep. I called this last turn. Because Pentix got open, he decided to hit the 3 and break Blazon in order to gain an action. Blazon sets, goes for the break, and fails. Yeah, I think that was just an error in opening Pentix. But Nub hits a 2 and gets the break, so Nub gains an action point, right? Hopefully that's accurate. If you break a bonus by hitting a 2, does that count as both, right, with that one attack? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, because we saw white do it to yellow, and then yellow just now did it to purple. Alright, Blazon hits a 3, which means he loses no action points this turn. Trunk can break Game Slot's bonus pretty easily here. Looks like he's going for a break and a take. Or neither, thinking. Doesn't break. Gonna stay good neighbor with Game Slot. Idan hits a 2 and breaks a bonus. Pentix takes his bonus, but he's unlikely to hold it. Puts everything in front of Trunk. Nub thinking about what he wants to do. Yeah, doesn't want to get his 3 smacked. Nub hits a Game Slot 2. Doesn't retake his bonus. Ooh, Idan goes for the break but fails it. Loses 1 on his retake. Gonna try to guard his +3 with a couple of 3s and a 5. Loses an action point that turn. Good thing he has points to spare from winning game 1. Right. Game Slot and Trunk are not breaking each other. They're going to get huge, but they are still hitting 2s and breaking other people. So Game Slot just now hit a 2. Trunk's about to run. Goes for the Blazon kill. Only loses 2 on that 5. Should have Blazon here. GG's to Blazon. Well played to Trunk, taking the first bounty of game 2. He did break a bonus and hit a stack larger than a 2. So that bounty was worth 4 points if you include the action point he gained. Pentix going to take the 8 trade. Looks like he's going to break Trunk. Loses no action points for doing so. Ooh, and gets a wild card. Nub trades in. I believe that's the 10 trade. He's set up to hit a trunk 2 and to break a trunk bonus. And to retake his gold bonus. He hit a lot of trunk. 2v1 to try to steal the bonus. Alright, Nub gains an action point this turn. Throws the fist bump to Idan because he left a 2 for Idan to take an easy action point off of him. Swords out, saying break me. Does Idan want to break him? Does he want to hit somebody else? Idan doesn't break him and doesn't hit a 2. Idan loses an action point. Alright, we see the 15 trade come out. We saw Idan drop the 12. Didn't do much with it. Aside from stack. Game slot goes back to trunk. Can't kill trunk though. This looks like a run attempt. Loses 7 on that 5. I don't think he has this run anymore. He does at least gain an action point for this, though. So Trunk gets the 20 trade. Got beat up pretty badly there by Game Slot. Only on 10% of the board. Is the 20 trade enough to pick up the other 60% he needs to finish this game? Or does he maybe take the purple kill or something? Probably needs to add a couple to the 10 just to make sure he gets that 6. And the rest next to the 18. Thinking about it. Breaks a bonus or 2. Hits a stack bigger than a 2. Trunk gains an action point this turn. Breaks 3 of Game Slot's bonuses, but leaves 1 intact. Pentix hits a 2. Loses no action points. Pentix has the wild card if he survives to use it. Nub breaks 2 bonuses. Can he get to a stack? Nope. Next set is worth 25, which Pentix will almost certainly use if he's still alive. Idan coming down to break a bonus. Now Idan's the only player holding one. That's all he's going to do. Alright, can Trunk bag the Pentix kill here? That'll be a little tight, but he might have it. I think if he gets the Pentix kill, that should be game. Should be able to set and kill yellow also. Or is it better for him to go for the yellow kill? Ooh, breaks Idan. Gains an action point for that. Breaks him on a stack larger than a 2. So I think Pentix needs to trade here, or he dies. If he sits on 4, he's definitely dead. So he needs to either card skip or trade. He does neither. I think that cements 5th place for Pentix here. Alright, Nub, setting for 25. It's not quite big enough for him to get the Pentix kill. Can't really circle around and get the Idan kill. I don't think 25 is quite big enough, not really well positioned for it. Could perhaps get the game slot kill, but that could be a tall order. Going for Pentix. He got good dice on the 16. I think he has this. Needs good dice on the 10, and he gets it. Yep, that is the Pentix kill for Nub 2.0. GG's to Pentix. Well played to Nub, taking the 2nd bounty this game. Nub setting for the 30 trade. Should be able to chain this pretty well now. Chaining it into game slot, I think. I think that's the play. You chain this into game slot and take the W. I would start with the split off the 8. Okay, he has it. Yep, just send 5 there, and then you should be able to sweep across the other way. Alright, GG's to game slot. Well played to Nub 2.0. Taking the 3rd bounty this game, his 2nd. Gonna take the Idan kill here. Actually, just gonna take the 70%. Alright, GG's. And well played to Nub, taking the W in game 2.